Thank you for tuning in to the Doing Business with God podcast.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I am your host, Michi Renee.
It is Michi's passion to help you live your best life and do business God's way. Michi will be talking about entrepreneurship, manifestation, monetization, mindset, beliefs, starting and growing a business, nonprofit, or ministry, all while serving God. So welcome to My Daddy's Business. It's time for the show. It's the Doing Business with God podcast with your host, Michi Renee.
Hello, tribe. Welcome back to another episode of the Doing Business with God podcast, dedicated to helping you do business God's way. In this episode, I will be talking with Miss Daliesha Murray. Daliesha is a graduate from the College of the Bahamas in Nassau, Bahamas, with a degree in hospitality operations. She is the author of one book called Don't Despise Your Broken Pieces, Understanding the Purpose for Pain. Daliesha is currently a business owner, speaker, and known as a millennial empowerment catalyst. She continues her personal growth through different self-development programs. Her vision is to help young women who struggle in the area of self-doubt, self-worth, and self-confidence to empower them to not allow life situations to define who they are. Daliesha, welcome to the Doing Business with God podcast. How are you today?
I am doing well, and thank you for having me here.
Yes, absolutely. So I was very intrigued by your story. So let's just jump right into it and we'll get started. First of all, how long have you been in business? And then tell us about your entrepreneurial journey and how you got to this point.
Thank you for that question. So my journey, how I got here. Let me first start with my story. At age 9, my world was torn upside down where my mother was diagnosed with a mental disorder called bipolar. So at that time, we were in a happy, comfortable home, loving each other, mother and father there. And to get this news at age 9 tore my world upside down. I started to develop low self-esteem, self-doubt. I was even at a place of committing suicide. But for the grace of God. And that followed me through my adulthood for a period of 20 plus years. Even now that I am an adult, it followed me. And I began to question God. God, why? Why me or my family? What did my family did that deserved this? We were such a happy home, mommy there, daddy there, my siblings there. And all of a sudden, this interruption came. So I began to question God. Did it stop? Absolutely not. Every trial keep coming until I said, you know what? Life has to be more than just this. Life has to be more than just me struggling with my self-identity, self-sabotaging myself, and looking for love, looking for validation from outside. So I spoke with one of my friends and she encouraged me to take therapy, go to therapy. And with so much pride, you don't even want to do that because you're thinking that something is wrong with you, and because of the embarrassment, you don't want, one person to know you have to go take therapy or speak to a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to say, you know what, Alicia, nothing would come off if you just decide to go. So I decided to take up her offer. And could I tell you, that is the best thing I ever did. That therapist went into places that I could not even go into. And I was able to face myself and heal and was able to share my story. Was it easy? No, it wasn't easy, and it still isn't. But I'm trusting God that, hey, everything works out in His perfect will. I recall taking my mother up to rehab, and I saw other family members there, and they looked so down and so depressed. And I reached out and I said, hey, I started to be in a small conversation, and they were telling me what they were going through, and I was sharing. And the Lord placed on my heart, what you're going through is not for you, but it's to break barriers of your mind and to reach another generation who is struggling with the same thing. I was like, wow, God, you trusted me with this assignment. Me, who don't even like the spotlight, always, well, I'm an introvert. I was like, God, can't be. So I ran around the bush until God did everything to get my attention. I was like, you know what, God, I am still. I am still. Speak to me. If you want me to do this thing, God, I need you to help me get the resources. You need to help me to talk to these people. You need to help me to heal, spend time with you. And as I begin to pray and talk to God more, because my problems draw me nigh to God. And because of that, I was able to connect more with Him. And during the connection, He downloaded things in my mind to say, you know what? Get up from there. It's no point staying in your blanket of hopelessness, but get up and rise. Reach someone else. Know you're not looking for pity from anyone, but you are on a journey to encourage the younger generation. And that's why I am so passionate about this, because I know what it is to be the counted one, the counted out one, the one that's wounded, the one that's looking for validation, the one that depleted herself all because she thought she was not worthy. And that's why I say, you know what? It's not only me, it's more persons. And I want persons out there to know that, hey, you are not alone. I know what it is, and I'm here to help you. So that's how my journey started.
Absolutely. I can absolutely relate to that. And I'm sure most women listening to this podcast can. We put so much pressure on ourselves. We're trying to be everything for everyone that we sometimes forget our own self. We need to give from our overflow, but a lot of times we're giving stuff that we don't even have to give. One of the things that I saw that you mentioned in your bio that you sent to me is that you are a millennial empowerment catalyst. What is that?
We hope that you are enjoying this episode. If you would like to be a guest, check the show notes for all the details. Let's get back to the Doing Business with God podcast with Michi Renee.
Well, since I am young, a millennial, I believe that my gift is more to empower the millennials. I do have older women complimenting me and say, yes, your gift is for me too. I don't back it down, but hey, I'm open and I'm welcoming you guys too. But I believe that because I am a millennial, my gift is to inspire them more because I can relate to them more. Not to say that I'm putting boundaries or putting a barrier
I
to my
understand what
gift,
you
but I believe that, hey, my gift is to encourage the millennials more on this journey.
And so is Millennial Empowerment Catalyst, is that a coaching program?
That
Or okay, talk to us about that. So what can someone expect to get or receive, or what do you do within this Empowerment Catalyst?
So the Millennial Empowerment Catalyst is a Facebook page that I use to inspire, encourage, and empower young women around the world, where I get to do live videos about self-development, your confidence, your public speaking, and I drop quotes every day to encourage millennial. And like I said, I use the page to encourage and inspire them. And because of that page, I also came up with a coaching program where it's called Level Up Your Confidence, where I help millennials that are struggling in the area of self-doubt, self-worth, and self-confidence. We have a monthly program or a 4 months program. It's really up to the individual. And the program is all about transforming, elevate, and then rise. So it's basically coaching, and also persons normally ask if I'm speaking to. So I'm doing that too. It's not official yet, but I'm bringing that into the process of going out, branching out, and speaking on different platforms.
One of the things that I do want to bring out and let's talk about a little bit is for someone who may be struggling with mental illness, such as bipolar disorder. And audience, I want you guys to hear the fact that this was not her mental illness. These came as a result of her parents. So imagine if you are suffering from mental illness, this is just from a child's perspective from her parents. So I can only imagine how that's affecting the person, especially if they're not recognizing the mental disorder or if they're not getting help or treatment. What do you have to say about that? And how can people recognize and get some help needed?
Well, in my case, I noticed when my mother, she's doing things that she normally don't do. For instance, where she's constantly talking a lot, or perhaps she is just using strange language, which I know she don't use, then I know, hey, it's time for her to speak with her doctor and see if she could get her treatment. Now, mind you, in that case, well, when I, the individual that recognized this, you can be defensive, as in say, you know what, you need to take your pills, or you talk down on them, because if you do that, they're going to feel some type of attack that's coming on them and they're going to respond back. So I try not to give her that, well, speak to her in that type of way, but talk to her like the adult that she is. Give her that space, give her that room. But at the same time, I am managing her from a distance. And when you notice these signs, I encourage you to get help. To get help. I don't know what else to say, but yes, the help, you must reach out to help.
So, in your mother's initial diagnosis, what made whomever caught it, or did she catch it herself, or how did she initially get the help? What caused the situation to come to light, I guess?
Well, what caused the situation to come to light? I was told by her doctor that it could be, it came on physically with stress, but it also came on from a generational perspective. And because they told me that I believe in the power of God, yes, I believe, still believe in the pills and the medication because God placed doctors there. But at the same time, I do believe in divine healing, and that is from above. So that process I am still waiting on, but in the meantime, we are still using wisdom by taking her to get her regular checkup, making sure that she is taking her meds. And also, this came up from at age 9, when I was actually 9, and at that time, it wasn't so severe. It was just something like, say, for instance, that day I saw her holding my baby brother, and I just saw her just staring at him, and like something was wrong. Something was either wrong going on in her mind, or she was looking at the kid like something isn't right with the kid. And I began to say, Mommy, what happened? And and she's just staring there looking at me. So I know something wasn't wrong, something wasn't right. So I told my daddy about it, and that's when he decided to check up to see what's happening.
Mm.
And I guess she got a little defensive because she wanted to know why we were treating her a certain way, as in saying, Mommy, what's happening? What's happening? We kept asking her that. And I guess it was just too much at that time talking with her, and she just get a little defensive. And that's when we knew that, hey, something isn't right. And we took her, well, my dad and my uncle, they took her to the clinic in the little town of Abaco, and they spoke with the doctors, and they said that, hey, that they need to fly her out, because at that time we never had a rehab center in the town that we lived in.
Mm-hmm.
So they took her out and they fly her to another town, another country. And that's when we got the news that, hey, it stemmed from stress. And also, I got the word that it's actually from a generational perspective, also. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so they're saying that it's hereditary, that
Yeah.
there's mental illness in the line. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely, can understand that. I can only imagine you being a small girl, how that, would affected you and your other siblings as well. For you, as you got older and you went through, elementary school and middle school and high school, how did that show up for you?
That showed up every day. I was not myself. I stayed away.